welcome to the Earth Embodied Leadership Council. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for saying yes to yourself, for saying yes to the connection to the earth, saying yes to the connection to yourself, and yes to the connection to your ancestors. Thank you for seeing that the importance of understanding our interconnection and interrelation with the earth and how that can be utilized as a way of being, a way of carrying your offering into the world, your service into the world. And thank you for seeing that, for believing in yourself as a leader and as someone who can tune in really deeply to your earth body and the body of the earth and those that we can't see and community. So we're going to start by sharing a welcome that comes from Canticle Farm in Oakland in the Bay Area. It's just this incredible farm that was founded on the principles of Joanna Macy, who some of you may know about. And so I'm going to just open with this really wonderful welcome, and then I will present to you each of the mentors and teachers that are going to be sharing today, and then I will share a little bit more about Earth Embodied Leadership and what that means, and then we'll jump into it. So here we go. We would like to welcome people on all parts of the continuum of gender identity and expression: lesbian, gay, bisexual, heterosexual, transgender, queer folks, the sexually active and the celibate, and everyone for whom those labels don't apply. We say welcome. People of African descent, of Asian descent, of European descent, of First Nations descent in this land and abroad, and people of mixed and multiple descents, and all of the languages spoken here, we say welcome. Your bodies and the bodies of shapes and sizes of all abilities and challenges, those living with chronic medical conditions, visible or invisible, we say welcome. People who identify as activists and those who don't, mystics, believers, non-believers, seekers of all kinds, those who practice the old ways, all ancient and enduring, earth-honoring traditions, witches, pagans, and wild creatures, people of all ages, those who support us to be here, we say welcome. Your emotions, joy, fear, grief, contentment, disappointment, surprise, outrage, anger, and all else that flows through you, we say welcome. Your families, genetic and otherwise, those dear to us who have died, our ancestors and the future ones, the ancestors who lived in the lands where each of us are, we honor you through this work that we are undertaking, and we say welcome. We welcome all the plants, the green beings, the grasses and the herbs, the flowers and cacti, the shrubs, and the tall trees from all places: redwood, oak, and pine, cedar and willow, cypress and yew, the trees from the rainforest and the swamps, the river bottoms and deserts, and also your wonderful companions, the mushrooms, the fungi that enroll and hold your soil and decompose your bodies to enrich earth, we say welcome. And finally, all non-material beings of this place and all places, beings of the wind, the forest, the desert, the ocean, as well as this particular place, whether it is still intact and wild or domesticated and paved over. We welcome you in the names of the people native to this place gave you, and by the names by which you know yourselves, we say welcome. all beings that inhabit earth, human or otherwise, the two-legged, the four-legged, the winged and the finned, those who walk, fly, and crawl above the ground and below, in the air and the water, we say welcome. Let's just take a moment to breathe that in. Just acknowledging the presence of all sentient beings that inhabit this earth, and welcoming everyone in all of their ways of expressing themselves and all of their ways of being and the ways that they are born and come into this earth, and acknowledging and honoring them and all of their beauty. So next I am going to introduce the presenters, and I am so honored to have these three incredible, beautiful, wise women who have really perfected and really worked so extensively and deeply in honing their practice from the inside out. And they're women who I've really admired over the years, and who have also brought me so much peace and inspiration and spiritual transformation and work in my own life. So without further ado, we have Luna Love joining us, who's going to be covering traversing your inner landscape. And she is an amazing transformational feminine leadership mentor, and she has been working with women for years, helping them to get into full alignment with their values and their goals, and to find sovereignty through in doing that. And she does work with emotional mastery and sensuality and leadership and grounding and practices and mindfulness and all of that. So it's such a wonderful honor to have her with us today. And then we have Charlie Tide calling in all the way from New Zealand. She was born in the rainforest, and she has a very, very strong, long-lived, intimate relationship with the earth and all of its beings. And she has a mother and a basket weaver, and has her own website, and shares a lot of wisdom through those means, and just a really beautiful soul that I've known for I think like about 5 years now. And yeah, just quite a sweet gift to have her with us as well. She's going to be covering Ally with the Earth pillar. So then we have Gogo Ekaya, who is an initiated Sangoma healer of South Africa, and she really works with the ancestors and connecting people with their ancestors and helping them to overcome emotional and mental challenges in doing so. And so she really works with the elements, with plants, and with spirit guides in her traditional way of healing. So I have had the beautiful privilege of working with her this past year in a number of ways, and I personally have been really deeply touched by her medicine and her teachings and her shamanic healing work as well, and have built my own relationship with my ancestors and through working with her. So yeah, such a beautiful honor as well to have her being here to teach us about teaming with the unseen. So I look forward to that. And then myself. And I will be sharing about cultivating a life-supporting community, a life-giving community. So I'll be sharing a little bit more about who I am and my background and things of that nature in just a moment when I dive into my segment. So again, thank you all so much for being here. You could be doing a million things in your life, and to tune in and do this for yourself, to make this investment of your time, to understand how you can be in most highest and best integrity and awareness about how your impact, or how everything that you do is a ripple, has a ripple effect and impact, and how we can kind of constantly be combing through our actions to be able to live in greater alignment with our value system and with the earth and with all sentient beings. So that kind of is a good segue into the Earth Embodied Leadership introduction, and really what that is. What is Earth Embodied Leadership, and what does that mean? And so I kind of wanted to just take a moment to define what that is. And yeah, so I'll just give a little backstory. So for me, how, a little bit about my journey with Earth Embodied Leadership. I was living in the suburbs in Michigan where I grew up, and nature, having a forest nearby for me was absolutely where I was able to truly grow. And it was a place where no matter how I was feeling, I could always go to nature and spend time in the forest and with the trees in order to understand more about who I am. And and so nature for me was always my main guide, I feel. And I didn't even really know until I got older and realized that nature has always been my primary teacher, mentor, guide, and such subtle ways, and my church and as well. And it was always the place I feel like that I would go to find solace and connection and peace, and so much more than that. And I can't even really probably fathom how much I was affected and given from nature. And yeah, so that has really honestly been like my grounding for my life, is knowing that I have that connection and have that relationship to the earth in a way that's so true and pure and so just true, pure love and connection. And the deeper that I go into it, and the deeper that I understand more about how nature is just a simple reflection of life and of our own inner journeys, and how it can teach us so much about offering and receiving, and that creating that really natural intrinsic relationship, reciprocal relationship. So when that comes to leadership, I truly believe that when we are in full awareness, presence, connection, and understanding that we are part of a greater ecosystem of plants, organisms, animals, fire, water, wind, air, and all of that, all in between, all of the animals, all of the beings here, we have a greater power, we have a greater sovereignty, because we are so interconnected and we feel that interconnection. And not only that, it kind of allows us to become so one with nature that everything we do is an offering. Every word we speak, every action, every dance, every song, every time we eat, every time we take a step, every time we call and speak to another human being, every time we honor ourselves, every time we make an offering to an investment or a or self-love or self-care to our bodies is our power, is our birthright, and is our strength as people, as human beings, to come back into our native human wholeness and to reclaim that sovereignty and that power that we have to be in good relation with the earth. So this is really where earth embodied leadership comes from, and the essence of it, and the beauty of it, and the strength of it. So I'm really happy to give you just a good rounded introduction to this webinar, this class, this master class, this prayer, this offering to you. And I really hope that you get something really good out of it. I hope you take away something meaningful, something practical, something that you can really apply to your own life and leadership and work and service in the world. And I'm excited to move into my piece on cultivating a life-giving community and how to do that. So I will begin that now.